While Brussels and Washington are busy putting up massive tariff walls to protect their car industries, the UK has left the door wide open. Because of that, your next car is very likely to be Chinese. It'll be cheaper, it will have more technology, it will have a longer range than any of its European rivals. This isn't a prediction, it's a reality unfolding on our roads right now. And here's why. I'm Dave, this is Dave Takes It On. Well, for decades, the path to buying a new car in Britain was a well-trodden one. You'd look at a Ford, a Vauxhall, maybe a Volkswagen. If you're feeling a bit more ambitious, a BMW or an Audi. The brands were familiar, the choices were clear, and the hierarchy was well established. It was comfortable, it was known. But that entire world is being systematically dismantled right now by a wave of new contenders that most people hadn't even heard of 5 years ago. The shift to electric was supposed to be the moment for the legacy automakers to shine, to pivot their century of engineering prowess into the new era. Yet it's been a costly exercise for the average UK household. The trusted European brands have, well, let's be honest, been slow, sometimes reluctant to bring their prices down and offer anything half decent. A new electric car has felt like a luxury item, a statement of affluence rather than a practical choice, and always out of reach for many, especially with the rising cost of everything else. The market was more than just ripe for a shake-up, it was desperate for one. And that shake-up has now arrived from the east. Well, let's cut right to the chase, because this is the factor that powers everything else. The single biggest reason your next car might be Chinese is the price. The value proposition isn't just a little better, it's staggeringly, undeniably better. Well, let's take a direct, almost symbolic comparison. The Volkswagen ID.3 has long been hailed as the electric Golf, the people's EV from a trusted European giant. It's a respectable, sort of capable car. But a new ID.3 Pro S model, a fairly high-spec version, will set you back somewhere in the ballpark of 40 grand. In fact, some performance-orientated GTX models can climb towards 46 grand. Now let's have a look at some of the newcomers, like the MG-S5 from the now Chinese-owned SAIC Motor. Has a starting price of $28,495. And we're not talking about a bare-bones city runabout with drum brakes and wind-up windows. The base model is slightly cheaper than the Ford Puma base model, petrol, which does have so little extra, like manual seat adjustments and a manual tail lift. Wow. Oh, and a leisurely 0 to 60 time in 9.8 seconds versus the MG-S5 base model, 8 seconds. It's no slouch. All models within the MG-S5 range have electric everything, and they're so much bigger, over 400 millimetres longer. The DAS, driver assistance systems, make the Puma SE look little better than a Ford Prefect. The top-spec Trophy extended range at just $33,495, almost exactly the same price as the top-spec Puma Hybrid, offers very impressive 298-mile WLTP range, packed with features like a 360-degree camera, heated seats, advanced driver aids, still comes in at $33,500. That's comfortably less than a mid-spec ID.3 for more range, more equipment. Well, then, if your budget does not run up to £30,000, look back to BYD, another Chinese one, which stands for Build Your Dreams. In 2024, they officially overtook Tesla in global EV sales, monumental shift in the electric vehicle landscape. The BYD Dolphin Surf hatchback lands in the UK this year with an almost unbelievable value proposition. While higher spec model with an incredible list of what most others regard as extras, and a 200-mile range is priced at a ridiculous $23,950, the entry-level active trim starts at $18,650. Yeah, $18,650, under 19 grand, and it's only 300 millimetres shorter than the Puma. For far less than the price of a mid-range European competitor, you can buy a brand new 5-door electric family car. It's not just the sticker price that's turning heads, it's what you get for your money. This is where the gap becomes a chasm. These Chinese models come with technology and features as standard that are often buried deep in the expensive option extra list of European cars. The Omoda E5, an SUV from Chery, lands with a stunning futuristic design, gives you dual 12.3-inch screens, adaptive cruise control, lane departure warnings, full suite of driver assistance systems right out the box on the base model. The BYD Seal, a sleek saloon aimed squarely at Tesla Model 3, boasts a premium interior, panoramic sunroof, and that huge signature rotating touchscreen, all as perfectly standard. These aren't cheap cars, they are inexpensive cars. That is a crucial distinction. They are delivering a premium experience at an economy price point, and buyers are starting to notice. So why is this happening now with such incredible speed, and why is the UK the epicenter of this automotive earthquake? The answer is a potent cocktail of geopolitics, economics, and post-Brexit trade strategy. While the US has slapped a prohibitive 100% tariff on some of the Chinese EVs, and the EU has still not decided whether to slap Chinese tariffs on their own, the UK has so far kept its markets comparatively open. This has effectively turned Britain into the most attractive and arguably most vulnerable market in the Western world for these ambitious and incredibly well-funded brands. And we've seen this story before. It's not new. Many of you will remember the 1970s and 80s when Japanese brands like Toyota, Honda, Nissan arrived. They were initially met with, some say deep skepticism. A lot of people just laughed at them. They were dismissed for their perceived quality, lack of, and derided as copycats. But they offered bulletproof reliability, generous standard features, and fuel efficiency that European cars simply couldn't match, and all at a lower price. They didn't win over consumers with flashy marketing, but with sheer, undeniable value. Within a decade, they had fundamentally and permanently reshaped the market. And this is happening all over again, just this time much, much faster. The sales figures tell the story in stark, undeniable terms. In the first quarter of 2025, BYD sold more cars in the UK than they did in the entirety of 2024. That represents a mind-boggling growth of 625% compared to the same period the previous year. Their market share shot up from just 0.45% 2024 to 1.6% in the first quarter 2025 alone, and the trend is accelerating. In May 2025, BYD actually outsold Tesla in the UK, registering over 3,000 cars to Tesla's 2016. Combined, Chinese-owned brands are already closing in on a 10% market share in the UK. And this isn't a slow creep, it's a full-scale strategic push into a market that has rolled out the welcome mat. Oh, by the way, if you're finding this breakdown useful and want to stay ahead of the curve on the biggest shifts in the car industry, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're tracking this story very closely, and you won't want to miss what comes next. Well, the most compelling argument for this shift is, of course, the cars themselves. It's time to throw out that old, outdated, made in China stigma. For years, the phrase was synonymous with low quality, a shorthand for cheap knockoffs. In the car world of today, that perception is not just wrong, it's dangerously outdated for legacy automakers. China is now the world's most developed and fiercely competitive EV market. Fact. This brutal domestic competition has forged companies that are now global leaders in battery technology, software, and manufacturing efficiency. Well, let's meet some of the key players leading this charge into the UK. We've named a couple already, but go into a bit more detail. First up, go back to the MGS5, the EV. This is a slightly larger successor to the car that effectively kick-started it all, the infamous MG4 EV, available in bright orange for those who dare. It's a handsome, practical electric hatchback that's started to win awards already, and it's famed for being an incredible amount of car for the money. It's got a wide range of battery and trim options from the affordable 28495 SE model, the base model, up to the high-performance Trophy long range, and that one is a mere 33,495. It's spacious, well-equipped. The Trophy extended range version boasts a WLTP range of 310 miles. Embarrassing cars that cost thousands more. MG, a historic British brand now owned by Chinese auto giant SAIC, is masterfully blending that familiar heritage with genuinely cutting-edge and critically affordable tech. Well, next we have BYD, and they're a true powerhouse. As we mentioned, the Dolphin Surf is making waves with accessible pricing, but it's the Tesla competitor Seal, 45,705, if your budget stretches that far, that shows off the Chinese to their best. Technology underneath that truly impresses. BYD is fundamentally a battery company, a pioneer of the cobalt-free Blade battery. This isn't just a marketing gimmick. The Blade battery uses a unique structure and lithium iron phosphate chemistry that makes it ultra safe, passing extreme tests like being pierced with a nail without catching fire, as well as highly durable and amazingly space efficient. The Seal Saloon is a direct challenger to the Tesla Model 3, offering stunning looks, a 0 to 62 time as low as 3.8 seconds and a range of up to 354 miles. The build quality and interior design, with its huge rotating screen and premium materials, are good enough to make established European premium brands very nervous. Then there's the Omoda E5 that you're unlikely to have heard of. You will. Omoda is a sub-brand of Chery, one of China's largest automakers. The E5 is a futuristic-looking mid-size EV that lands in at 33,065, way back in the small hatchback pricing territory. It's aimed squarely at tech-savvy families with its huge dual-screen cockpit, wireless smartphone integration, and a design genuinely turns heads. And this is just the beginning. We're seeing an influx of even more brands. XPeng has now launched in the UK with its G6 SUV, priced from under 40,000. It features an advanced 800-volt architecture for incredibly fast charging, technology that until recently was the preserve of high-end Porsches and Audis. NIO's set to arrive with its unique battery swapping technology, which could eliminate long charging stops altogether. By the way, you can charge it as a normal car if you want to. And brands like Leapmotor are targeting the city car market, the budget end, with models like the T03, which could become one of the cheapest EVs in the country at a starting price of $15,995. The sheer pace of development is what should really worry the established players. The quality gap that might have existed a few years ago was all but evaporated. In fact, in some areas, it has inverted. A car considered average from a Chinese brand 2 years ago has been replaced by a successor that is a genuine class leader. The development cycles are faster, they're less encumbered by legacy factories and union agreements, and they're innovating at a breakneck speed, born from the hyper-competitive Chinese domestic market. This intense competition is fantastic news for one person, you, the consumer. It's forcing everyone to up their game. The arrival of these high-quality, feature-packed and affordable EVs is putting immense downward pressure on prices across the entire market. European manufacturers can no longer command a premium just for that badge. The perceived value of that badge is eroding with every new, highly specced, competitively priced model that lands in the UK from the East. They will have to compete now on price, on features, and on technology, not just on history. Well, this means more choice, better value, and faster innovation for everyone. It throws the doors to EV ownership open for millions of people who were previously priced out of the market. The stated goal of governments and environmental groups to get more people into electric cars is ultimately served not by protecting legacy brands from competition, take note Europe, but by embracing the very competition that makes those cars affordable and accessible for all. So head back to the big question. Why will your next car be a Chinese EV? The argument is actually becoming overwhelmingly logical. For years, the biggest hurdle for UK buyers has been the high cost of going electric. The source of the market's frustration has been the massive gap in price, technology and range between the old guard and the new contenders. The solution arriving on our shores right now is this wave of compelling, high quality and astonishingly affordable electric cars. 18,650 for a brand new car, I ask you. Buying a car used to be a decision based on decades of brand loyalty. It's what your parents drove or what you knew. But when faced with such a clear and potent value proposition, logic is starting to crush loyalty. When you can get a car that costs thousands of pounds less, goes further on a single charge and is packed with more technology as standard, the decision becomes less about the badge on the front and more about what makes the most sense for your wallet and your family. And this isn't just a possibility anymore. For a growing number of British drivers, buying a Chinese EV is becoming an inevitability. They're not just catching up. In many areas that matter most to EV buyers, like battery technology, software, sheer value for money, they're now leading the way. The reshaping of the UK market, as it went through in the 70s and 80s, is not on the horizon. It's well and truly already underway. Well, what do you think? Would you buy a Chinese EV? Are you sticking with the traditional brands? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and don't forget to subscribe, please, for more deep dives into the future of driving. I'm Dave, and thanks for watching. I get a few requests for attending user group or owners club meetings and try to attend wherever I can. On Saturday 19th of July, I've been invited to the Tesla Owners Club, East Midlands by Jason. I'm very pleased to say I'll be able to attend. It's being held at the Tesla Service Centre, it's Lincoln LN6 3UA, on Saturday afternoon, 19th of July, about 3 o'clock. If anyone wants to meet me, I'll be with Jonas filming videos for the channel and helping out however I can best be utilised. Thanks for the invite, Jason. Just make sure someone remembers the donuts. Well, if you have an upcoming meeting, please let me know. Leave a comment, or better still, drop me an email, davetakesiton@gmail.com. No promises, but I'll try.